What a wild card weekend, guys. This is a good wild card. This is what we wanted from a wild card weekend.
All I got to say is Buffalo, you're lucky. Cincinnati, you're lucky. You went up against some inexperienced players and coaches. Y'all should have lost.
I told you.
Y'all should have lost.
I told you that Dolphins-Bills game was going to be close.
You're lucky.
And it was. And they got lucky, dude. They got saved by literally the bad call from the Dolphins.
Not even that. Their coaching was terrible.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The bad call at the
they
end.
They couldn't get up to the line of scrimmage, delay games, false starts.
So the story this week was comebacks.
Oh,
Chargers went up 27-0, and they ended up losing. And the Bills were up. They were up 20-something, 17-0, and they almost lost.
Josh Allen 3 turnovers.
Yeah. That's how I don't think they're going to get past the Bengals, in my opinion. And I'm sure it's going to be a better game.
The Bengals are F2. Their offensive line,
their offensive
gone.
line,
They're in trouble too.
They lost 3 offensive linemen.
Let's go game by game here and just.
San Francisco Seahawks was the only one that made sense. It was good for a half.
I was going to say,
it was good for a half. The second half, San Francisco just took over.
Okay.
Debo, baby.
Debo's
Debo. I told you.
You can't say Debo without Brock Purdy, though.
No, you can't. And that's why it blows my mind that San Francisco is even talking about getting Tom Brady next season. And I get, obviously, I agree.
That's just talks.
I think that's ridiculous. I think Brock Purdy has done nothing but show the team that he could be their QB number 1. And, of course, we still have to see some stuff from him. But everything we've seen from him so far shows me QB number 1.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think there's anybody else.
He's looking to get killed.
I mean, that's true.
He is looking to get killed out there.
But the fact that he's able to make those plays.
No, I agree. But one hit is going to be – that dude looks like he's going to get killed.
Right. I mean, you're right, but you need to be able to make plays like that, and he's doing it, and he's doing it with success.
You need to have that dog mentality in you, and he has it. He's a dog, baby, dog.
So you're a stat guy, Tom. You like goofy.
I don't know why you keep saying that.
You like goofy fun stats.
Sure,
I got a goofy fun stat for you about the 49ers.
Hey, I'm a stat guy, everybody.
I think it's since 2008. Teams with a 10-game win streak going into the postseason, every single one of them has lost in the divisional round. And the 49ers are on a 10-game win streak going into the postseason.
Okay, this is what I want to mention. The one thing that does scare me a little bit was the secondary of the 49ers because DK Metcalf was cooking them.
Dude,
they were actually
Ward looked terrible.
Yeah, and Tyler Lockett, he did all right. But, I mean, there was a point where I was thinking that they could not stop their passing game whatsoever, at least in the first half. And then they kind of contained that a little bit. But that was the one major issue with the San Francisco 49ers. Luckily, Brock Purdy went crazy, 3 tutties, over 300 yards.
He should have thrown a couple picks there. Seattle just missed him in that first half.
Sure,
but should have, could have, didn't. But
sure, definitely, you're not wrong. So yeah,
in the secondary being their biggest issue, if the Bucs win, the Bucs would go on to play the 49ers.
I would also like to point this out real quick. I feel like with that stat, a lot of those teams are probably teams with first-round buys, which I think really matters, sitting out an entire week, especially because a few years ago, 2 teams in each conference had a first-round bye. So almost certainly if you're in a 10-game win streak, you're having.
Yeah, what was your stat? I'm sorry?
Teams with a 10-game win streak going into the postseason have all lost in the divisional round since, I think it's 2008.
I was wondering what the Eagles' win streak was. It's not 10, I don't think.
No.
There's no way it's 10.
No. Well, no, they
lost
to
the
last 2 games.
Cowboys. Yeah, because of that. Yeah. I'm excited.
If the Cowboys win, I think 49ers beat them. If the Bucs win, I think Tom Brady could pick apart their secondary.
I don't. They played already. They played already this season, and freaking they got destroyed.
Dude, the old Tom Brady versus the new Tom Brady and Brock Purdy.
Wow.
Honestly, that's what it could be, dude.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of comparisons because wasn't he taken last overall or something? Yeah.
Mr. Relevant.
Man, I don't know. I would not be sitting pretty if I was the 49ers.
See, I think they are.
Dude, they look the most impressive.
I was gonna say, dude,
They
second
did,
half
but
is where it was at. Let's be real. Okay, so one thing that we cannot look, and we talk about all the time, those divisional games, because there was a lot of them in the wild card weekend.
Yep.
Throw records, throw everything else aside, there's a chance for an upset anywhere. And again, in the 49ers game, it was close all the way through halftime.
Seattle was winning.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the thick of things for a while, and then it took a little bit for the 49ers to pick things up, but
That's why, like I said, Buffalo did not want to see the Dolphins, even though they were a very beat up team. Man, those divisional games they could go completely different ways. It doesn't matter who's on the field for you, truthfully, and that we've seen it. I mean, they almost lost that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are lucky.
Last thing, San Francisco 49ers. Dre Greenlaw is a freaking dog. Absolutely fantastic game, and he went out with an injury for like a little bit. I thought he was going to be out for the game, which could have been a major issue, but he's like one of their most underrated players that people just don't talk about that deserves to get talked about because he is incredible.
Yeah,
but
let's stick on the NFC side, so we'll go right down to the Giants and the Vikings. In the first upset, the Giants beat the Vikings. We said it. We thought that the Vikings weren't the team that they looked like they were on paper. And again, we talked about how the Giants might be the best team for them to see in the playoffs, but it still wasn't enough. Danny Dimes showed up. Saquon Barkley showed up.
I don't even care. Kirk Cousins getting hate on. It ain't his fault. He played a good game, minus that last play.
But Daniel Jones played a better game.
Vikings defense is terrible. Vikings defense is absolute garbage town.
And that's why we always been saying they've been
absolute garbage.
Like,
Kirk Cousins was 31 for 39, 273, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, a 112 QBR. Like, he didn't play bad.
That's the thing that, like, JJ didn't show up.
No, he didn't.
Like, where's he at?
Yep.
Their run game really wasn't there.
No. That's why.
Dalvin Cook really didn't. He didn't show up in the way that he needed to.
Like Saquon Barkley made his mark in that game. Where's Dalvin Cook at? He's not doing that.
He hasn't been there all season, really.
No.
You're kind of, I mean, yeah. And the receiving game is.
T.J. Hawkinson.
He had a game.
That was their best guy.
Well, that's what I said. I said if JJ doesn't show up to this game, they lose this game. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't show up, and that's literally their only player that really carries.
Their defense is absolute garbage.
It is.
That's disgusting.
There was a lot of questionable play call. It would be like 4th and 8, and they'd go for it. It's like...
Well, at the end of the game, it's 4th and 8. The game's on the line, and you throw it 3 yards, with a guy right on him.
Might have been generous. It might have been 2.
That was disgusting. that was disgusting.
That's why I think
that was really bad.
Yeah, that's why I think Kirk got so much heat. But again, who knows what the play call was? The coach might have been like, "Listen, you don't pass this past 3 yards. you don't do it." And again, Kirk can make that decision. He's the quarterback in there. But again, like if that's the play call, if that's what the coach is calling, you obviously going into the offseason, you don't want to disrespect the coach. That you might be off the team next season. Honestly,
he said this was his worst loss.
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Kayvon Thibodeau, they had a 21 combined QB pressures. Yeah. They were on Kirk that game. And like you said, it wasn't his fault.
That's what I'm saying. This game was not on Kirk Cousins. They had their defense was garbage town. Their players didn't show up.
Yeah.
They did it in the Giants kind of did it in the past game a little bit too. Isaiah Hodgins.
I'm not gonna
he was
lie.
Good.
Yeah. He was good.
Dude, I really hadn't even heard of him.
He was a late
before
season
this game.
pickup too, wasn't he? He wasn't there all year.
Fantastic, over 100 yards. Slayton was there. Obviously, Saquon Barkley was
Slayton had that drop, which gave the Vikings a chance.
That could have been. Oh man, that would have been one of the worst drops of the season right there.
Daniel Jones becomes the first quarterback in NFL postseason history with 300+ passing yards, 2+ passing touchdowns, and 70+ rushing yards. He's a dog.
He's a legend.
Vikings defense, absolute worst defense in the NFL with the Lions. That's disgusting.
So now it makes me want to go back now because of all the hate that the Giants got in the draft. Whenever they drafted Daniel Jones, from everybody, truthfully, especially Giants fans were so mad that they drafted Daniel Jones. What's the thought now?
2 first names.
I'm not sold on him.
I've always kind of liked him a little bit as a lower tier quarterback.
That's what it is. He's a lower tier quarterback that could get it done for you. He's not like the next elite guy. He can't go out there, I don't think, and put the team on his shoulders week in and week out. He could do it. He could do it sometimes. But again, I feel like you stick with them. I don't think there's any reason.
Well, they got a big decision they're going to have to make.
I want to see what they do in this next game because I could see it going either way. I could see them getting blown out, or I could see them again performing against the Eagles and keeping it neck and neck the entire time. So whatever Daniel Jones shows up, whether it's the Daniel Jones from Wildcard Week or if it's the Daniel Jones from their loss against the Commanders, we're going to see what Daniel Jones shows up.
2 very different defenses. The Vikings, who don't have the greatest defense, versus the Eagles, who have a great defense.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for that. To see the Eagles go up against the Giants, I thought they were going to go up against the Cowboys because obviously I thought the Vikings were going to win. But again, another division rival. I'm very
curious. You say they're secondary, but at the same time, dude, the Giants actually don't have great receivers.
Well, that's what I said.
The Vikings made them look
right. The Eagles match up well against the Giants.
Like the Patriots looked like they had an amazing receiving core when they played the Vikings. It's not.
Well, yeah, I know that for
They do.
sure. I'm just saying that's like the one weak part as of late for the Philadelphia Eagles, who again have not been like that for sure number one team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the first AFC matchup. So it's the Bills and the Dolphins. We'll talk about that one first. And again,
you guys are lucky.
Dolphins, they almost finned up for a little bit, but then they blew it. They blew it for themselves.
They were dropping passes left and right.
Waddle couldn't hang onto the ball, dude. He had so many drop passes.
There's one Gesicki up the seam, right in his hands.
They were not giving Skylar Thompson any love.
No. He was doing good, man. He was hitting good passes, and they kept failing.
That was like the worst thing, too. Like, a lot of those drops were early in the game, too, whenever he's trying to build a little bit of confidence up.
Passes. They were like scoring passes, at least getting field goal range or something,
right
man.
In the face mask, like right in the chest and face mask. He dropped it. I don't know. I mean, that was unbelievable that game was close. A division game or not, I threw that out the window.
See, I told you.
Third string quarterback.
I threw that out the window, too.
I could not believe it coming down to the end like it did.
It started out 17-0.
And again, arguably the only reason why the Dolphins lost that game is because the Dolphins shot themselves in the foot.
Well, yeah, it came down to those delay a game.
Yes.
Like every time they're coming to the line of scrimmage at the end of the game, it's just like 3, 2, 1. They're wasting timeouts. They're getting penalties. They're up against the clock the entire time, which like really killed them.
Did you see their coach hitting the vape on the sideline?
Yeah, I did see that.
I heard about
it. Was like it looks like he hit a vape. I don't know if it's real or not. But
it was very cold out.
I was gonna say it was very cold out.
He was probably blowing on his hands, but it literally had him go like this, and he was like,
yeah.
And they cut. So everyone was like, that's why he got that delayed game, dude. He had a ripper.
But the Dolphins were going very blitz heavy. There was a lot of plays, and then Josh Allen just beam it down the field, and they'd get a completion.
That's what you have to do with Josh Allen, I feel like. He makes mistakes. So if you put that pressure on him and have him just toss it up, he's that kind of guy that just tosses the ball down the field and just hopes for the best. Yeah. And having Stephon Diggs back there really helps. But again, there's going to be those times where you throw an interception. That's exactly what happened.
He fumbled it. He threw picks.
Yeah.
That's what I expected.
He was very lucky that one fumble went out of bounds. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
100%.
So that ends up leaving us with a game versus Cincinnati Bengals, who also did not look great.
Ravens. What was
that?
I would actually like to say I thought the Ravens actually played pretty well.
They did.
They did. Until it mattered.
If that guy catches that ball on that last play.
Oh, I know. They go for two. They go for two.
Yeah,
I think they go for two.
I think they go. Well, I don't know if they go for two.
I think
that's what we were debating.
I think
but that guy should have caught that ball. He was back there for what reason? To catch a tip ball back. It hits him in the hands. Mm-hmm. You lost the Ravens game.
That happened so fast.
This is stuff that gives me flashbacks to last year too, because the Bengals and the Titans game came down to the last play of the game again. We were on the edge of our seats thinking the Titans had a chance to come back. Yeah. The same exact situation. And they beat them. And then, of course, the Bengals went on to kind of beat the Chiefs and then go on to, what, were they wild card or did they win the division? Were they number 1 seed last year? Who'd they play?
Titans were.
They played the
Titans.
Raiders.
Okay, the Raiders. That's right. The Raiders, too. They played the Raiders. Yeah. So, again, I'm very curious to see what they do, but I'm still riding with the Bengals in this game against the Bills, and I think it's going to be a very hard-fought game. I think the Bills and Bengals are both going to look a lot better.
I was going to say, a lot of times it's a wake-up call.
Exactly.
I think whenever you have a close call like that.
Yeah.
So I'm still expecting a really good game between both of these two teams.
Is Lamar – oh, well, never mind.
That's okay.
He already freaking posted today. He's like, you take care of what you have or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, you need to take care of me.
The good things you have, you take care of, and they'll take care of you.
He didn't even come to the game.
He didn't.
That's what I'm saying. He's not on the Ravens next year. And if he does get franchise tagged, he's not playing.
I think he'll definitely get franchise tagged, if anything, just so you get traded away, maybe.
They're
not just going to want to give him away for free, right?
No.
They're going to want to get a few first-round picks for him.
Freaking Huntley. That play where he extended, right? Why did they set up like that? They had two guys beside him as if they were going to push him through. Was he supposed to jump over? They should have had them all spread out so the linebackers at least spread a little bit and he could have jumped over. He had everyone collided in the middle there and he tried to jump over.
This was another very interesting play call game. There was a lot of going for it that I was like, why? And then that last play, he almost tripped over his own 2 feet.
Yeah. Hey, that was a good Hail Mary pass, though. For him tripping over himself like that, that was impressive.
That's the thing, and that's why the Dolphins are so dangerous in the wild card and why the Ravens are so dangerous in the wild card is they don't care. They're out there by the skin of their teeth. They're like, we're going to do some crazy stuff, and you guys aren't going to be ready for it.
And the clock management was so bad at the end. They had over 3 minutes, multiple timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
They went huddle. They didn't go no huddle. They went in the huddle twice. Was burning clock. And while they're burning clock, they ran the ball, got a holding call.
Yep. And that
was terrible. Why are you running the ball with 30-some seconds left, and then you get
and that's again something that Huntley, not being an experienced quarterback, it shoots him in the foot because if Lamar Jackson's out there, they might have been able to use, they would have been able to use a lot more of that 3 minutes. They would have went no huddle.
They used that clock very poorly there.
Yeah.
So, I would say Joe Burrow didn't have the best game, for sure. I think the biggest problem for the Bengals was in their version, like a pretty good run defense, they had no run game at all. I mean, Mixon couldn't get it going.
And again, their offensive line is diminished.
Yeah, that's something that should be very concerning.
I was gonna say that's very concerning because the Ravens are also very banged up. Yeah. So on paper, this game should not have been close.
I will say they had a bad offensive line last year and they made it work. So it is a concern.
Yeah.
That's why they don't get big plays though, because Joe Burrow doesn't have time for the receivers to get down the dang field.
True. So speaking of no run game, Chargers, no run game.
You're up 27-0. Why is Herbert throwing the ball 40+ times?
That coach needs fired. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
If he does not get fired, they're going to have an uproar.
That's atrocious. That's absolutely atrocious.
Uproar.
Good for the Jaguars, man. Again, that's a huge confidence boost. They were rocking that Waffle House after that game, dude, because Trevor Lawrence showed up. That's everything that the Duval Nation wanted to see out of Trevor Lawrence.
The first quarter, four interceptions in the first quarter, and then after half just turns around.
They were 4 interceptions, but it seemed like I think 2 of those were his fault. And again, 2 interceptions in the first half is not good either. But I feel like all 4 of them weren't his fault. But it's good to see your quarterback that's younger, not a rookie anymore, but younger, be able to come back from that and not let that first half performance dictate what your whole game's going to be. And that's what Jacksonville needed to see. Yeah,
we're seeing that first-round pick on him is, like, starting to pan out a little bit because he seems like he's the real deal. Brandon Staley, back-to-back years, just fails to end the season. I'm sure every Chargers fan probably wants him gone.
Yep. Absolutely.
Have to want him gone, especially with the roster that they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Franchise quarterback, and they just can't get it done.
You finally make it to the playoffs with Justin Herbert, and then you blow a 27-point lead. And it's like, what do you do? You got to get rid of him. You can't keep him after those 2 performances.
What's the worst,
you can't.
the end last year or the end this year with the
I think this year
overtime
this year. You're in the playoffs and you blow a 27-point lead.
27.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Both are pretty bad, but
all you had to do was just hand the ball.
We say that, but this continues to happen to teams.
Right. Because it's this stupid, I know it best. It's a stupid defense that people play where it's just prevent. And you let up huge chunks in the middle of the field that just burn you.
They just play way too safe.
Exactly. You can't. Just play your game. Who cares if they score 1 touchdown? You're giving them 4 touchdowns.
Well, you're totally right, specifically with that game, because the Chargers came into that game with the perfect game plan, it seemed like. They're pressing on the wide receivers. They had a lot of success. There was nothing short. They're forcing Trevor Lawrence to throw it deeper. They were getting interceptions.
Yes.
And then it was just all thrown out the window whenever the second half comes around because they're up by 20 points.
Yep. And it's like if everything is literally going your way, like don't fix what isn't broken. These are professional athletes out there. They can run for an extra half. Let them run for an extra half. You don't need to have them play so safe that they're barely moving and just letting up 20 to 30-yard gains in the middle of the field. Like that's you can't do that. You can't. I don't understand why NFL coaches continue to do it.
It sucks for Asante Samuel because he had such a good game and it just all went to waste. He would have been player of the game, hands down, and all that just gone to waste. No one's gonna remember it.
After the game, Derwin James did an interview and he was like tearing up doing it because again, that's just so tough. I know. That's brutal. That's brutal.
I'm just happy we got Bengals Bills. I was really scared that wasn't about to happen for a second.
I know. Yeah, going into the next round, Bengals Bills, Jaguars Chiefs, Eagles Giants, and then San Francisco and either the Cowboys or the Buccaneers. So who do we think is going to win, the Buccaneers or the Cowboys? We went over this.
You already know my answer.
So
I'm sticking with the Cowboys. I don't feel confident, but I'm sticking with the Cowboys.
This is the toughest one for me, and I picked the Cowboys, but I did see a stat, some with the Cowboys, and
Tom Brady's 8-0.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
It's at home. Give me the Bucs.
I don't know. This one is such a coin toss. I'm gonna go.
I cannot look past the Buccaneers
I don't know.
Regular season. I just don't think they're good.
It's.
They could win because it's versus Dallas, but I genuinely don't think they're good.
On paper, it's so close, and then as we can see, all these games are so close. So what makes this one going to be any different? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it'll be a close game. I do. I think this is a toss-up. I'm going Cowboys just because I think they're a slightly better team as a whole. But again, it could go either way. It could be a toss-up. I really thought it was going to be Cowboys and Eagles. And I thought the Eagles actually desperately had a chance. Well, I thought the Cowboys desperately had a chance to actually beat the Eagles in that game too. Right. But now they don't even have the chance until it's in the NFC Championship. So
yeah. I'm gonna go Bucs. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I think I'll say what I think in another video. We'll do
our picks. We'll do our picks.
Making our picks, round. But yeah, give me the Bucs.
Amen.
Go down to that comment section. Rate this wild card weekend. I think one of the best in recent history. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.